So there's been a lot of talk in the news recently about loot boxes. Loot boxes everywhere, like loot boxes here, loot boxes there. I mean, you know, I'm talking about games like Shadow of War, Battlefront 2, there was Forza recently. We can guarantee there's absolutely no loot box discussion in this video.
Not here, friends. This is a safe place.
Apart from that.
All of that stuff. US retailer Gamestop recently released an advert teasing Assassin's Creed Origins that can only be described as a marketing shart, or shartketing for short. Because very much like sharting, they tried to do something that stinks a bit and ended up shitting in their own trousers. The advert briefly shows the assassin on the side of a pyramid before a hilarious pop-up camel interrupts the advert, followed by a message that reads, "Sorry, the bonus mission is blocked unless you pre-order Assassin's Creed Origins." How self-aware. So yes, they've tried to take a little pop-up pre-order culture there and make a joke about how utterly insulting it is to be told you can't enjoy certain parts of a video game unless you pre-order it. Problem is, they made that joke as a way of advertising their own in pre-orders. With gamers favouring digital copies over physical copies more and more these days, it's no surprise that companies like GameStop are having to get creative with their advertising. Even so, this is still completely tone deaf. We had loads of requests to cover this. A lot of people apparently saw this advert, or at least, you know, saw articles about it and thought it was outrageous. And it is. What a terrible decision.
I saw it and I thought, this is a parody. This can't be true.
Yeah.
Someone was tweeting me about it and it was like, this is obviously isn't true. This is ridiculous. It would be ridiculous, right? The whole concept of them using this as advertising was completely beyond my imagination. That's how ridiculous this was. But no, this was f***ing true. This is absolutely true. This whole pre-order bullshit shenanigans, we're laughing at them because of this. We're chastising them for it. We're ripping them apart for it. They don't get to be part of the joke. Yeah. They don't get, they're not allowed to be part of the joke. F*** off.
Shartketing, you can have that one. Use that. Take it. Use it.
In other news, Oculus are launching a new lightweight VR headset. The Oculus Go, as it will be called. Oh, I mean, what else would they call it?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Oculus Go. It's a f***ing nailed on, home run, Oculus f***ing Go.
Oculus Light just sounds too shit, doesn't it? So it's got to be like...
It's on the go, Mag.
Yeah,
it's not just
course,
light.
yeah,
You can go on the go. I mean, it's self-descriptive. It's perfect. Oculus Go will be a brand new VR headset that doesn't require a PC or a smartphone. It's what Oculus describes as a standalone headset, and it won't have any wires running from it. Some details about the Go have been revealed. He's even calling it the Go now. We're even calling it the Go. We're part of the problem, Mike.
We are.
Such as the next-gen lenses with a 1440p resolution. They have supposedly designed the screen to increase visual clarity and reduce screen door effect. It will have integrated audio, but most importantly also a 3.5mm headphone jack for private listening. We all know what private listening we're talking about here.
It's the word private.
It's porn.
Just don't use the word private.
It's their description.
Yeah.
The Oculus Go will be sold for $199 next year. A price we'll reserve judgment on until more details are revealed.
So there's been no mention of battery life, which is going to be absolutely crucial.
Sure.
But the thing with VR is, like, you don't want to be in it for that, for that long. So it can kind of pass with a shorter battery lifespan because, you know, you want to play for an hour, then maybe take a break. You don't need to be sat there for hours and hours and hours in VR. So they can kind of get away with that. Also games. We don't know what games it's going to have.
Like what is the hardware? I mean, obviously there's limitations because it's on the go and it's wireless. There's going to be some sort of constraints to it or some sort of like restrictions to it. It's not going to be the full fat experience, but it does address the issue of VR headsets being intrusive and being cumbersome. Okay, this is exactly what I said was the problem with the HTC Vive. It's too heavy and it's too sweaty to have them for a long time. So why not have the Oculus Go? It sounds reasonable. I mean, as shitty as the name is, it might solve those issues that I had with the HTC Vive.
And in other news, it's no secret that games development can be a long and grueling process, but it's not often that you hear about a game that has been in development for 12 years. Overgrowth, a procedurally generated physics-based fighting game, is finally releasing next week after just 12 long years in development. The game sees players take the role of a bipedal rabbit who happens to know Kung Fu. It's been in Steam Early Access since 2014, and it just released its final beta update last week to include the full single-player story.
The game has been in development for so long that it got a name change early in its development. Lugaru 2, as it was formerly known, was in development for 3 years before the game got the official title Overgrowth. It then entered another 9 years of development. According to early access players at least, the game is pretty promising, but they would say that because they're invested. That wasn't in the script, I just said it.
Just some on-the-fly analysis is what that was.
With a real focus on the combat and platforming, but lacking any kind of exploration. Overgrowth will be available on Steam on October the 16th and also comes with a free copy of Receiver, another game by the same developer. Let's hope those 12 years were time well spent. That's almost as long as it took us to read that article.
Final Fantasy 15, that's the most recent one I can think of that took a very, very long time. I can't remember exactly, it's like 13 years or something like that, so that's crazy. But that's a big AAA game. This is a little indie game, but it's being made by one guy, so he's obviously had to, you know, work around a day job or something to make this game, because it's taken a long time. And elsewhere in the news, Sony has officially licensed a bunch of new controllers for use with the PS4. Now, the only reason we're pointing this out is because one of the designs looks remarkably similar to the Nintendo Joy-Cons used for the Switch. The resemblance really is pretty striking, and the retro-inspired design by a company called Hori is pitched as an ideal introductory PS4 controller for young players. Hori managed to drastically reduce the controller size by removing the touchpad and replacing it with a button instead, but you can still simulate touchpad controls using these sticks. It's available from November the 6th.
How apt is it that a company called Hori are whoring an idea from somebody else? More at 10. Sorry, it was that voice.
That voice, but not the words.
And the next story this week was probably summed up best by Destructoid in their headline, quote, "Some lunatic hit level 4000 in Overwatch." The lunatic, who's known to his friends as Tree Boy Dave,
Great name,
announced on Reddit that he had successfully leveled up his profile to over 4000. I prefer the lunatic. Better than Tree Boy.
Just the lunatic, yeah.
Although Tree Boy Dave is quite endearing, isn't it?
He's like a guy down a pub, Tree Boy Dave. Tree Boy Dave. He's a lumberjack.
It's like he spends all this time in trees, but shouldn't it be like Recluse Dave or Recluse Boy Dave because he's spending so much time in Overwatch?
Recluse Boy Dave.
That's it. It's more apt, I think.
Try that next time.
This feat took him 3,500 hours of game time to reach, but Tree Boy Dave says he doesn't care about the levels, and his real goal is to spend 150 hours playing each character. To reach this goal, Tree Boy Dave needs to play just another 266 hours across 8 remaining characters, and according to Destructoid, if he carries on at his current rate, he should meet this goal in a minuscule 39 days. Good luck, Dave. We mean that sincerely.
Yeah.
We're investing in you now, Dave. We believe in you.
Noble cause.
Let's do it, Dave. Let's do it.
And finally in the news this week, the king of fried chicken himself, Colonel Sanders, will feature as a playable wrestler in WWE 2K18. Yeah, him off of KFC is available to use as a fighter in a wrestling game. This is not a joke. This is actual real news and signs that 2K are willing to sign any paltry corporate deal.
I insisted that get put on the script, and you've done me proud, Mike. You've done me proud.
Let's move on. As one NeoGAF user pointed out, it seems sponsored achievements and in-game apparel stores were only the beginning for 2K. You'll have to assemble the Colonel yourself using the game's Create a Wrestler feature, but he is in the game and you will be able to play as him. Colonel Sanders in the wrestling game WWE 2K18.
Just thinking of checking as many puns as I can into this.
Ah.
You're obviously fried about the idea.
Oh, God almighty.
They're finger licking good, Mike.
Fucking hell. I'm out of here, man. I'm out of here. Like this. You know.
You're welcome, guys. I know you love it. You're welcome. You're so welcome.
Alright, so it's been a pretty busy week for gaming news this week. Let us know what your favourite stories were down in the comments. Remember to like the video if you did enjoy it, and please do subscribe if you want to see more stuff like this every single day. Another video right there, which you could watch right now if you want to, and a link to Patreon if you want to support the channel. See you next time.